I love the fact that Tomko came in as the problem solver with Christian. Then they reunited in TNA, the act with both of them together that worked out really, really well. Tomko had a really good run in TNA, at least from what I saw, and he never got to live up to his potential. I don't know why when I look at him, I think of Fast and Furious Vin Diesel. He looks like a giant Vin Diesel. But definitely, I think Tomko had a lot of upside that never got like explored of how he could work, and he could talk. He could. It's just what's the promo? What's the character? You know what I mean? But he was a charismatic guy out of the ring. He could talk. He was comfortable, but he wasn't any more limited than any other pro wrestler. He could do what he could do, and he could do it very well, and he was safe.
I'm happy to hear you say that, actually, because I don't, he was lacking charisma maybe on screen, and as a fan, I was lumping him in with a lot of other guys, quite frankly. That's just my perception. So, I mean, I'm glad you sort of like putting that.
But your perception is true because the company never made you believe and perceive him in any other way.
Yeah.
So it's uncreative.
He was really reduced after splitting off from Christian, as far as I remember. And he was just doing random tags. And here's something that
it's like they did sorry to interrupt. It's like they did the diesel blueprint, but they didn't go all the way with the blueprint. They just took phase one and kept it in phase one.
Basically, yeah. It's one of those things where he was most over, I guess, when he first debuted, then just reduce, and, I guess. So when he left WWE, I can't quite find the date. I'm sorry. I know I wrote it down. I don't know if it's beginning of 2006 or late 2005, somewhere around there. He actually leaves WWE of his own recognizance, I guess you might even say. It was a mutual thing. And even weirder, WWE.com called him up the next day to actually get the story from him. And they actually did, a tiny bit of actual journalism at that point. And he said, no, it was a complete, simpatico. We were both happy to, leave it there kind of thing. They weren't giving me enough bookings. They weren't treating me seriously enough. I want to be a serious wrestler and be better. I want to go to Japan and train and really zone in on my training. I thought, man, how few people in 2006 would even dare do that?
It's very admirable. It really is. But then again, it's also self-preservation. So he'd rather leave on his own than get released and go and talk about, going to Japan and then TNA. And I think TNA actually did him way more good and explored that relationship with Christian better than WWE did.
Yes, I figure so. So he would split his time between TNA and New Japan, I think, for the next couple of years. He'd be teaming up with Giant Bernard, or Bernard, as you would pronounce it. Matt Bloom, A-Train, as another big guy who just, his potential wasn't being reached, I guess, in WWE and left. I think I don't know if WWE fired him or not, but he left and, made a better name for himself in New Japan as well. And then sort of by 2010, I guess, around that time, he sort of drops off the face of the earth, it seems. Maybe 2008 with TNA. I think he might have turned back up in TNA a bit later here and there. And then in 2011, things become a bit more obvious because I don't know how obvious it was to you at the time, horrendous drug issues that he ended up getting popped for robbery of a CVS pharmacy. And he was found injecting 170-something oxycodone pills.
I don't even know what to say about that. I know about the story, and I know about him going in that direction. I don't know anything. You said he reportedly is doing much better these days, thankfully, and I would have to concur with that. I have not talked to Tomko. I believe he might still live in Florida, so maybe I can look him up and see how he's doing and check in with him. But I have not talked to him since pretty much, I guess, the day or the week before he asked for his release and got it. That's all. I may have saw him.
He was in TNA at the same time you were, so, a few times.
Yeah, but I don't think we ever, I know, but we were doing I might have just said hello to him and that was it, but never really had any deep conversations. I think, you want to hear something funny? I think it's one of those things like I would see Tomko, shake his hand or give him a hug. How you doing, man? Blah, blah. But it's like we wanted to get away from each other as quickly as possible to not ever bring that night up again.
Yeah.
Or maybe we didn't want to be seen together because then someone else would rib us about that night.
I think he's on Instagram. I spotted him a couple of years ago. He was somebody I was like looking forward to, looking for interviewing at some point. And I just don't think I ever reached out, and I should have done. But yeah, as far as I could tell, he seems to be doing a lot better. So
good for him. Thank God. Thank God. You don't want anybody, no matter personal feeling. And Tomko I like, so it's not like, but anybody in the business, it goes beyond any personal feelings or not getting along with people. You don't want anybody to ever go down that road, and especially stay down that road.